Welcome to my channel. Today we are taking the Chevy Equinox EV on a real-world range test to see how it performs in everyday driving conditions. We will be driving at normal traffic speeds with the climate control set to auto for comfort. For context, it's about 60 degrees Fahrenheit outside with minimal wind, and the road we are taking is mostly flat. We are also going to explore some of the Equinox EV's standout features like SuperCruise control and auto parking. The navigation system is a integrated version of Google Maps. Our first destination is 181 miles away, and it estimates that we will arrive with 18% battery remaining. Currently the car is fully charged to 100%, and the dash displays an estimated range of 318 miles. A quick note here, never full trust this number. It's based on optimal conditions and won't always reflect real world driving. Okay, so now I'm resetting trip number 1. So we will track miles driven and our efficiency. I will be recording the dash display screen for the trip. Pay attention to these key elements: the estimated range left, the trip mileage, and the battery percentage. This data will give us a clear picture of the car's performance under real-world conditions. Now sit back, buckle up, and relax. I like to mention that most of this trip I use SuperCruise control without my hands on the steering wheel. Of course, I was paying attention all the time. I was adjusting speed as I needed and using the turn signal to auto change lanes. But more of that later. We have arrived to our first destination. Let's take a look at the dash screen. The trip counter confirms 181 miles driven, with 46 miles of estimated range left. Again, this number isn't always reliable. Here is the energy usage screen. We use 71.1 kilowatt hours for 181 miles. The Chevy Equinox EV claims to have an 85 kilowatt-hour battery. That means we use 83.65% of the battery, with 16.35% remaining. Let's compare this to the navigation's original estimate of 18% battery remaining at the destination. It is surprisingly close. Okay, now let's project what the range will be if we stop at 10% battery remaining. Since we be using 90% of the total battery, we can calculate the potential range by multiplying the efficiency by the usable battery capacity. That's equals to 191.25 miles total. In conclusion, if you're getting 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour, expect to get around 200 miles. Remember, you don't want to get to your destination with less than 10% battery remaining. That can give you a little buffer just in case you need to go to a different charger on a different location. And if you're getting out of range, you can start driving slowly and turn your climate control off. This way you can get better efficiency and start getting a little bit more of range. After driving around the city, we reached the charging station with 12% battery remaining. By this point, we've covered 209.8 miles with an average efficiency of 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour. Now let's start the charging. The Chevy Equinox EV promises a maximum charge rate of 150 kilowatts. However, the highest speed we hit during this session was 110 kilowatts, which is notably slower than the newer EVs on the market that can charge at 230 kilowatts or higher, while the charging speed remained constant at 110 kilowatts initially. It starts to taper off as we approach 80%. Overall, for a 2024 EV, the charging speed is on the slower side, meaning longer stops during road trips compared to other vehicles in this class. At the end of our session, we charged from 12% to 80% in 37 minutes, and we received 66.6 kilowatt hour of energy at cost of $34.20. This gives a good idea of the real-world charging experience for the Equinox EV. One of my favorite features on this car is SuperCruise control. It's a hands-free driving system that keeps the car centered in its lane, automatically brakes when approaching slower vehicles, and adjusts the speed accordingly. While I prefer manually signal for the lane change, the system can also handle them automatically. I drove most of this trip with SuperCruise control activated, and it made the longest stretches effortless and safe. Next, let's check the auto parking feature. It is impressive, but there are a couple things to note. First, the car requires you to park very close to the desired parking space before the auto parking system can be activated. If you are too far away, it won't detect the spot. Second, when the car starts backing into the space, it makes a lot of steering adjustments. The rapid movements of the steering wheel can feel a bit scary the first time, but the system does the job well. It parks the car smoothly and precisely, even in tight spaces. In summary, the Chevy Equinox EV is a comfortable, stylish option for daily commuting and shorter road trips. However, it falls short in areas like charging speed and range accuracy, which are critical for many EV buyers today. Thanks for joining me on this real-world range test. If you own a Chevy Equinox EV, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your experience and compare statistics like range efficiency and charging speeds. It's always fascinating to see how these numbers vary based on driving habits and conditions. Thanks for watching, and I see you in the next one.